Great. Well, thank you all so much for taking the time this morning to join us. My name is Frankie Lewington. I'm an associate with Root Policy Research, and we are assisting the City of San Diego with their consolidated plan, their 2025-2029 consolidated plan. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. All right, can everybody see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Awesome.
Yes.
Great, thank you. And just a quick reminder, just because we have just over 50 people on the call, if you can all just mute yourselves. We will, there's a portion in the meeting today where we'll all be in breakout rooms where you will get to share your perspectives. So if you all can just hold on until then, that would be greatly appreciated. All right. Well, first off, welcome. Again, thank you for taking the time to join us today. As I mentioned, my name is Frankie Lewington. I'm an associate with Root Policy Research. We are a housing and community planning research consulting firm based in Denver, Colorado. We are the prime consultant working on this project with the City of San Diego. And we're also joined on the team by DPD Solutions. It's David Dollahan, who is helping us move this project forward. And before I move on, I'm going to invite Angela Nazareno-Clark to introduce the Consolidated Plan Advisory Board members, council offices, and city departments.
Good morning. Thank you, Frankie, and welcome everyone. I'd like to recognize the following city departments and council offices we have joining us today. They include representatives from Council District 1, 6, 7, and 9. And we also have a representative from our Homelessness Strategies and Solutions Department. Also in attendance, we'd like to welcome and thank our board members from our HUD's Consolidated Plan Advisory Board, Rich Thiesing, Abina Bradford, and Smith Sirisakorn. And I apologize if I mispronounced your last name. We want to thank you all for attending, and I'm going to pass it back to Frankie.
Thank you, Angela. So just a little bit more about the Root Policy Research team. So we have worked on over 300 projects in over 35 states. Our primary focus areas are housing and community development, community engagement, language access, childcare and education, economic mobility, and fair housing. Root, at its prior firm, has also worked on HUD required reports previously for the City of San Diego, the County of San Diego, Encinitas, Santee, and then a handful of other cities in Los Angeles and Riverside counties. So just a quick overview of the agenda today. So I'm going to give an overview of what a consolidated plan is, along with our community engagement strategy for this plan. Then I'm going to turn the floor over to you and hear from you all on what you think the needs are in the City of San Diego. We are then going to take the majority of the time to break out into small discussion groups to hear more about the outcomes that you would like to see as a result of the HUD funding that the City of San Diego receives. And then we'll wrap up with next steps and other ways to be engaged in the process. So what is a consolidated plan? So a consolidated plan is a planning document that's required by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. It uses a combination of quantitative and qualitative information to determine top housing needs, community development concerns, and gaps in services for low and moderate income populations. The document is produced every 5 years as a condition of receiving the funding that HUD distributes. And then the City of San Diego for this plan expects to go to public comment with the draft consolidated plan sometime in spring 2024. So the funding sources that the city receives includes CDBG, which is the Community Development Block Grant, HOME, which is the Home Investments Partnerships Program, ESG, which is the Emergency Solutions Grant Program. And then the city receives the HOPWA allocation, but the actual program is administered by the County of San Diego. And all of these different HUD programs have eligible uses of the funds that can be spent by jurisdictions. So how much does the city actually receive from HUD? So up on the screen here is just a breakdown of the City of San Diego's fiscal year 23 allocation. Each year, HUD puts out allocations. They are never the exact same every year, but they're generally around the same amount. So usually it's safe to say that the city receives around $11 million in CDBG per year, $6 million for home, $1 million for ESG, and then $6 million for HOPWA. And the city anticipates $40 million in an additional $40 million on top of the annual allocation in CDBG program income during this 5-year cycle, which is 2024 through 2029. How is this funding actually used? So this is just broken down by buckets, how the city has previously spent those funds. In the community development bucket, investment in public facilities and nonprofit facility improvements. For public or community services, investments in programs that support meal delivery, food banks, educational advocacy, senior services. For economic development, investments in employment and workforce development programs, or improving access to job opportunities. And then housing, investment in increasing and preserving affordable rental and homeowner housing for residents. Meeting the needs of people living with HIV/AIDS through the provision of housing and other supportive services, and then fair housing program activities. So now I'm just going to give a really brief overview of our planned community engagement efforts throughout the development of this plan. So first, I just want to direct your attention to the city's Consolidated Plan website. The URL is there up at the top. sandiego.gov/cdbg/general/consolidated plan materials. An easier way to access this website might just be scanning the QR code that's on your screen. Alternatively, you can just type in San Diego Consolidated Plan on Google and you should be able to navigate here. The website will have all of the project updates as we go through the plan process. You can also sign up for email updates. There's direction on how to do that on the web page. And then you'll also just get information on the public forums, the community survey, the public hearings, and then times and dates on how to comment on the draft consolidated plan, and then the final product as well. So we are, in addition to this online forum, we're going to have 7 in-person forums. We'll have those at the beginning, the first and second week of October. The dates are up here on the screen, but don't feel like it's necessary to scribble all these down. These will all be available on the city's website. We will be meeting in person with communities in City Heights, Skyline, Linda Vista, Valencia Park, downtown Logan Heights, and San Ysidro. We are kind of in the final throes of putting together our community survey. This survey will ask similar questions that we're going to be asking you today to identify needs and what outcomes should be prioritized with HUD funding. The survey will be available in English, Spanish, Tagalog, Vietnamese, Mandarin, and Arabic. It should take about 5 to 7 minutes to complete. And once the survey is live, please share it with your neighbors and your networks. And for everyone that has registered for this kickoff forum, we'll send an additional email once the survey is live, just to make sure that you all have the live link. So for public hearings and meetings, we will be going to several different bodies in the beginning of November, including the Consolidated Plan Advisory Board, the Economic Development and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, as well as City Council. In early November, we will be presenting our needs assessment findings, what we've heard through the community engagement process, and then using both the needs assessment and the community engagement findings, that will help inform the draft goals that we will have available for comment during those public hearings in early November. We will be going back to those bodies in the spring of 2024 with the draft consolidated plan and the annual action plan, and those will be available for the public to comment on. Again, this will all be available on the city's website. So now I'm going to turn it over to you all. So we are going to use a platform called Mentimeter. So if you all are able to open another tab on your browser, or if you'd like to use your phone, that will also work. You can go to www.menti.com. Or you can scan the QR code that's currently on your screen. Once you get to the menti.com, you will be prompted for a code. Please enter 42593803. And if Avi or Ashley could just drop that information in the chat as well, that would be great. Just the website as well as the code. So I'll give people a few minutes, or not a few minutes, a minute, just to get to that. All right, I'll give 30 more seconds. And if you're encountering tech issues or just not able to use the platform right now, that's totally fine. These are the same questions that are included in the survey. So this will not be the only opportunity that you have to share your opinions. So let's go ahead and just get started. So the first question is, what are the 5 most critical housing needs in San Diego? We have affordable rental housing, and for each need, we've provided some examples of what that looks like. So go ahead and rank your 5 most critical housing needs in the city. If you do select other, if there is a housing need on that you don't see listed on here, please feel free to just drop that in the chat. There's not a way to include that that answer on this screen. So feel free to drop that in the chat, or alternatively, at the end of this meeting, you can send me an email with that information. It's got over 10 responses now. Affordable rental housing first, emergency shelters or homeless shelters for people experiencing homelessness, affordable home ownership opportunities, transitional housing, housing repair are the top 5 issues rising to the top. All right, we'll give folks just 10 more seconds. Great.
And Frankie, does the print look bigger in your phone?
I don't know. Because there are so many options, it might be smaller on your phone screen. So apologies about that. Again,
Frankie,
if
this is David. I looked at it on my phone. The actual font on the phone is a little bigger than is normal size. It's bigger than what you're seeing on the computer screen.
great,
Yeah,
thank you,
so I
David.
think if you try to open it on your phone, it should help with the size.
Great, thank you all. All right, I'm going to go to the next question. So what are the 5 most critical community development needs in San Diego? And if there are only 2 or 3 that are jumping out at you, that's fine. That's fine as well. Great, so over 20 responses so far. Sidewalks, street lights, and other similar neighborhood improvements is first. More and or improved community centers in my neighborhood, help for nonprofits, more and or improved child care facilities in my neighborhood community, and then accessibility improvements to public buildings and or other community amenities. All right. Thank you all. So let's move on to the next question. What are the 5 most critical public service needs in San Diego? And again, if you have other, if you don't see a public service here listed, please share that in the chat. Great, so just over 20 responses now. Mental health services, emergency/overnight shelter and or homeless services, supportive services for vulnerable populations, addiction treatment services, services to address food insecurity are rising to the top. Affordable childcare. Great. Thank you all. So we'll move on to the next question. What are the 5 most critical economic development needs in San Diego? So just over 20 responses. We have job training programs, workforce development programs, more employment opportunities, micro enterprise programs, as well as low-cost loans for small or startup businesses and nonprofits. Great, we'll just give a few more seconds here, and then we'll be on to our last question. And again, if you selected other, if you wouldn't mind sharing what you were thinking in the chat so we make sure we capture that information. Great. So this last question here is an open-ended response question. And we just want to know where in the city are these needs most prominent. So you can be general, you could say these are citywide. If you'd like, you can specify the type of need and the type of area. So either neighborhood or community planning area or by zip code, whatever, however you'd like to define where specific needs are most prominent, that works. So whatever boundaries you are using. So we have 92105 south of I-8. Some different neighborhoods here. Promise Zone, 92139. Transportation citywide, housing issues primarily in downtown Promise Zone. South and East San Diego. Internet access and training for seniors. Great. Underserved communities. Southeast San Diego. Great, Promise Zone. Great, thank you all. Where homeless services are readily available. Great. Lower income neighborhoods, affordable housing, and more economic opportunity areas. 92173, 92113. Great. Thank you all. So that was, we're keeping going. Emphasis on Southeast and City Heights. Okay, great. Well, thank you all so much for participating. I am going to now assign breakout rooms for everyone. So if you will just hold on for me. And then once you get in your breakout rooms, we'll have city staff and other facilitators in each of those rooms to bring you through the next exercise. So just give me 1 second. Great. So facilitators, since we're starting a little bit later than we thought, let's all come back at 11:55. All right. So everyone should have an invitation to join our room.